G'day and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I want to show you how to permanently fix shoulder blade pain. As frustrating and annoying as shoulder blade pain can be, thankfully permanently fixing it isn't as challenging as it may feel. Sometimes you just need to take a small step back and change your perspective to understand not only what it is, but why it's there, so that you can work to address both of those things to hopefully treat the symptoms that you're dealing with, but also the underlying cause of those symptoms as well. G'day, my name's Grant Frost, and as an Australian musculoskeletal physiotherapist who is passionate about trying to solve aches, pains and injuries, permanently fixing something, which in this case is shoulder blade pain, generally requires three different things. The first is to find where something is stiff or restricted. The second is to see if something needs to get stronger. And the third and potentially most important is trying to change a habit, an environment or a posture that left the door ajar for long enough that these dysfunctions crept in and turned into an issue. So in this video, I want to go through a couple of different mobility exercises, one for the soft tissue, one for the deeper joints underneath. If you remember, there'll be an extended cut of this video that goes through two really simple strength exercises for your scapular muscles. But then I also want to talk about day-to-day postural habits, whether you're standing or sitting or working or relaxing, to see if we can pinpoint where this may have started from and why it hasn't just gone away on its own. So keep an open mind. Let's get into it. So when looking at the mobility aspect of trying to permanently fix shoulder blade pain, we want to break it up into two different sections. The most common and most obvious symptom that people have are those knots and tightnesses and tender muscular spots just on the inside of that shoulder blade, in and around where it generally hurts. So finding a mobility exercise that gives you access to mobilizing that soft tissue is really important. As long as we also appreciate that underneath those muscular tightnesses or knots are generally rib joints or spinal joints that are also stiff, tight and overloaded. But how this scapular stretch looks. Ideally, we can get you to grab a power band and secure it to something sturdy. You can absolutely use a TheraBand, but what I'd like you to do is we want to have the band just about chest height. We open the band up, we slide our hand underneath and then clasp over the top. While still facing the band, we want you to take as much of a step back as you can, so you've got enough tension on the band, letting your arms sag back towards the band. We want to lock off your shoulder by externally rotating your palm up and locking that with our hand. Still keeping the tension, we want to turn our feet to this side, because what we're going to do is going to keep our arm in line with the band, and we're going to slowly turn our trunk towards that arm. This position alone may start to open up some of that soft tissue at the back, but to really go looking for it, if we get you to hinge forward through your hips, then you might find it really exposes some of that shoulder blade muscle tightness. How that tends to look from behind, again, hand goes in, palm goes up, twisting around, facing the other way, and then leaning forwards. And we're hopefully going to find a whole bunch of muscle tightnesses in where the shoulder blade meets that spine and that rib cage. But the idea here is when you're in this position, I want you to hinge forward, go hunting around for what you feel is the best version of your tightness. Now we can hang out here for 60 seconds or 2 minutes, let the band do its job. Or if we want to speed this process up, we can use that PNF contract relax stretching model, where wherever you feel that tightness, you can tense up that tightness for 10 seconds, get your brain involved. This creates a reflex so that when you stop tensing those tight spots, they will give a little bit. You might find you can go a little bit further into the stretch before you find that stretch again and hunting around. And what you'll hopefully find is immediately you should feel some sense of mobility and freedom or increased flexibility through the inside of that shoulder blade. If you don't, you haven't done something. But as I mentioned, that muscular dysfunction has to be there for a reason. And typically that muscular function or that muscular dysfunction over the top is often helping out some underlying rib joint or spinal joint overloaded, stiff, tight, restricted tissue as well. So naturally we want to move on to that next to see what we can find in that space as well. So if you've seen these videos before, you'll know that one of the best ways that I've found clinically to find and free up stiffnesses and tightnesses through the upper back is by using a ball. For me, using a ball is often more specific and more immediately helpful than a lot of the broader exercises that hope that it does the thing that you're trying to get it to do. What we're going to do, take the ball and place the ball just anywhere between the bump at the base of your neck to the bottom of your shoulder blade, just off to the side. So if you find a bump in the middle and let it roll off to the side, this is going to be where the spinal joints are. If you go a little bit closer to the shoulder blade, you'll start to hit the ribs. You'll also hit some of the soft tissue, but it's the rib joints and those spinal joints that we're looking to have an impact on. So we'll start in the middle. So on the bump in the middle, just choose a level that you feel is comfortable for you. Roll straight off to the soft tissue part, so you're on the joint underneath, and then just lie down on top of that and just relax and let the ball press in. So depending on how symptomatic and sore you feel your shoulder blade pain is, we can do this a few different ways. The most basic one is just finding a spot and just leaving the ball here. Taking a few calming, soothing deep breaths to prompt the ball to sink in a little bit deeper. You can spend 30 seconds, 60 seconds or a minute here. Just let the ball press in. Then you can move the ball down to the next joint. Just keep going up and down systematically, trying to locate and reduce anything that you feel isn't necessarily tender, but restricted. And sometimes the only way that you can get a sense of whether it is stiffer, tighter, more dense or more restricted is by comparing it to the exact same joint on the other side. Typically, if it feels softer, that joint moves relatively well. If the ball doesn't sink in as well on the other side, then typically that suggests that it's restricted in some way. So just find those spots, leave the ball there, give it a chance to free up. If that feels comfortable, just systematically work your way up and down, move out towards the shoulder blade a little bit more, sink through that soft tissue, try and hit the ribs underneath. Again, you can stay here, relax, work your way up and down. But if you're someone who wants to push the envelope a little bit more, if that feels safe and comfortable for you, then what we can do is once you've found a spot that feels a little bit restricted, so I'll come out sort of just on the inside of that shoulder blade there onto probably my second or third rib. What I'll get you to do this time is straighten your arm out and keeping your arm straight, just try and extend your arm as high as you can and then oscillate at the top of that range. So for me, I can get all the way to here before I feel like it gets restricted. But if I just gently oscillate in and out of that range, it very quickly feels a little bit freer. So if I move the ball down a little bit further, this does feel a little bit more restricted. I come up again, this is as far as I can get to here before it really feels like it tightens up. But if I just gently oscillate in and out of that range, we're using movement to shear free that soft tissue. We're trying to shear free some of the joint restrictions. Now it feels a little bit looser, and I can keep working in and out and around. It feels a little bit tender, so I'll be a little bit more gentle. But again, what should happen very quickly is this starts to move further and further and further, and you should be able to see more and more of the side of my face until I keep my arm straight and get my hand touching that ground again. So if you can genuinely work up and down the inside of that shoulder blade and the outer side of the bumps down the middle, immediately you should feel like there's a greater sense of mobility, hopefully less of a sense of pain as well, because we've started to address some of the muscular tightnesses and knots and soft tissue restrictions, as well as some of the rustiness through the rib cage underneath that. But as I mentioned before, if you are a member of the channel, the next part of this video will be some strength exercises to hopefully make sure that we replace some of that stiffness and muscular tightness with genuine strength and stability. So once you've hopefully found and reduced some of those mobility restrictions through your shoulder blade, and if you remember you've gone through some of the strength exercises to strengthen those muscles, one of, if not the most important pieces of the puzzle to consider and hopefully improve on over time are the basic shapes and positions and postures you put that part of your body into the most throughout the day. Everything musculoskeletally has to happen for a reason. If you have shoulder blade pain, there has to be a very specific reason why the muscles and the joints that you've stretched and the muscles that you've strengthened needed to be worked on in the first place. And generally for me as a physio, when we're trying to understand what's important for each person and what environment has set this up to be there, the easiest way to think about this is to just write a list of all the things that you do throughout a typical day and a typical week, and then just rank them from I spend the most time doing this to the least time doing this. And for most people, that often looks more like the sedentary things come up at the top and the more active, interesting things tend to be lower down that list. And to cut a long story short, for me clinically, what I find is that generally these types of issues around shoulder blade dysfunction tend to originate from something stationary in a space that may look like your desk. Now this can be your workstation, this can be how you drive, this could be how you are in the car, it could be how you are on the couch of an afternoon. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, we're looking at the themes of how you're doing those things. Because again, if we know that this part of your body has become dysfunctional, for that to become dysfunctional, typically there is some shape where your shoulder is dropping down and potentially reaching forwards or dumping forwards and just hanging off that part of your back, that part of your shoulder blade. And for some people, that can be as simple as being at your desk, but using a mouse in a certain posture for hours on end. For others, that can be how you sort of drive the car and sort of rest on a steering wheel. Or for others, if you're just sitting on the couch watching TV in a certain posture and your shoulder is in a less than ideal shape, the first time you do it probably doesn't matter. The 10th time, the 50th time, it may not matter as much as the days, weeks, months, years of doing certain things. So the way that I would like to structure this for you is I'd like to show you what your best shoulder posture feels like in the context of of a seated stationary position so that you can take this shape, apply it to any situation that you find yourself in consistently to double check how good that may actually be for you. So that if you can keep finding things where you may not be in the best position consistently, it gives you a perspective and some things to work on to hopefully rework that, develop new habits around that so that all the strength and mobility work that you're doing is more permanent and you're not consistently having to do these things, and you can finally get to the stage where you've permanently fixed something. So to give you a sense of this, if I can get you to stand up. So the idea is you want to imagine that you're being dragged up as tall as you possibly can be from your head. Imagine someone's grabbed you by the head, they're just pulling you straight up. From here, you want to comfortably take your shoulders back. We're not going back and down. That's counterintuitive in this space, especially because thanks to gravity, most people slouch and lose good posture by dropping and rolling their shoulders forwards. So naturally bringing you back into a better position isn't back and down further. It's often back and sort of slightly up, or as I like to say, taking the weight of your shoulders. Maintain this position, and then when you come back to your seat or chair again, we want to make sure that when you sit down again, that nothing changes. Ideally, you shouldn't then default into a slouchy shape. You should be in the same position that you were, and when you address your mouse, your keyboard, your steering wheel, ideally your shoulder blades stay where they are, and you just bend your elbows, or you can sort of reach forwards without your arms and shoulders getting sucked forward with that. And it's these moments where you're just hanging off that tissue that we really need to start paying attention to if we're ever going to have a conversation about permanently fixing this forever. Because if you can't develop the awareness of how you got to this point, and more importantly, try your best to create a new habit with a new environment that maybe supports this shape rather than consistently drags you out of it, then it may be unrealistic for you to expect that this will go away forever, but it can. We just need something to be different going forwards. But at the end of the day, I genuinely hope that that was helpful. Like I said at the start of the video, permanently fixing shoulder blade pain, in theory, isn't overly difficult. Once you've found the tight spots, you've worked on the weak spots, and more importantly, become aware of and try to improve the daily shapes and positions you put that part of your body into, there shouldn't be too many things that hold you back from getting better. It may just be a bit of a roller coaster until all of those things smooth out and line up in a way that allows you to feel great forever. So if you found this video helpful, please let me know by leaving a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 100,000 subscribers. If you want the extended version of this video and the others that I put out, please consider becoming a member. But as always, I genuinely hope that that helped. I hope to see you next time.